Hey there, folks, and welcome back to another Friday Night Spotlight brought to you by Jones Ford Buick GMC, your hometown dealer for more than 50 years. This is officially the final week of the regular season for our 3A and 2A conferences. However, our game of the week does not include any of those teams. It is instead our red hot team who, let's be honest, none of us thought this would be possible in Vista Grande, carrying a 6-game win streak coming into this game this week against number 3 seeded. Maybe they're higher this week. The AIA power rankings haven't come out yet, but it's Canyon Del Oro. David, what are you expecting in this matchup?
Well, you said it right off the bat. I think going into this season, for the first 2 weeks, we didn't really think that this was going to be a necessarily good season for the Spartans, but they turned that right around and completely, shocked all those expectations. They've, like you said, won 6 games in a row, which is now a school record for them. They've been a great, football team all year now when they finally have some stability there, and they've really been just, hitting on all cylinders and really surprising a lot of people. And it may not reflect that way in the AA power rankings right now, just where they stand. I feel like they're around the top 20 area right now, but unfortunately for them, that may kind of still be the case, but they have a good opportunity here to beat one of the best teams in 4A if they can do it, because Canyon Del Oro is going to come into this game as no slouches. They are as tough as they come. Their offense can do virtually anything, great passing, great running, and a good receiving core, but the real standout for Canyon Del Oro is their defense. Their defense has been top-notch all year. It is what has elevated them to one of the best schools in 4A, and I'm expecting no less from them this year or in this game. Of their 7 games that they played, they've held their opposing the offenses to single-digit scoring in 5 of those games. So that is as tough as they come. Vista Grande is going to have to make sure that offense is still clicking like it has been the last couple of weeks in this 6-game win streak, and if they're able to do that, they will set themselves up for a pretty nice position in 4A. Unfortunately, I don't think I can. I'm thinking the win streak ends here. I think Canyon Del Oro is just going to come in really strong and be able to kind of play their game that they want to play here. So I'm going to take the Dorado in this win right here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Vista Grande still puts out a good fight. It's going to be a great game either way. 2 really good teams that I'm happy for Vista Grande putting in a great performance, but right now I think unfortunately the winning streak ends here on Friday.
So the thing about this Vista Grande team is this is the second year under head coach John Roberts, and when he came in last year, one of his main goals for this program was to try to build some consistency. With this 6-game win streak, yes, I mean a lot of people are wanting to knock off Vista Grande because who their opponents have been, but hey, you got to start somewhere, and they have shown that consistency and that ability to win in this 6-game win streak. Looking ahead at this week's game, this is their next challenge. Can they contend with playoff contenders? And CDO is one of those teams. Maybe it's a little too early given how young this Vista Grande team is, mostly made up of sophomores and juniors who don't really have that heavy varsity experience in just 2 years. But it's a good test to see, hey, where are we at exactly when it comes to the bigger picture here? Leading the way for the Spartans is quarterback Darnell Castro. So far during the season, he has completed 39 of 74 passes for 464 yards and 6 touchdowns. He does have 4 interceptions to go along with that, but he's a very light and scrambly kind of guy. He's really capable of getting out of the pocket, making the big plays, and also running the ball. So far, 258 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. A big key here helping him carry the load on the ground has been Angelo Tapia. So far, 337 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. But a big key here is the return of sophomore sensation Fernando Moya. He got injured in that first season game against Tempe Marcos Deniza. He wasn't really effective the rest of the season until last week. Last week against Empire, he posted 80 rushing yards, which is big for this Vista Grande's team, who has kind of built that stability around their run game. Another key here are all their transfers that are finally coming in. And Darius Brown, Brendan Hutt, and Matrion Riceper. Look for these guys to keep contributing and trying to help the Spartans win. Like David mentioned, I believe this is going to be a tough task for them. But hey, crazier things have happened. And right now, like Coach Roberts said, the football gods are on Vista Grande's side. So we'll have to wait and see how this one turns out. Transitioning over to our what to watch. David, what do you have your eye on?
I got two Pinal County schools going up against each other in Florence and Santan Foothills, and I think both of us didn't expect these teams to be in the positions that they are right now in this season. Both of them have had outstanding seasons so far, especially Florence and Santan Foothills. Honestly, both of them just been really great. Florence is inside the top 10 in the 3A power rankings, currently sitting at 8, while the Sabercats are just outside of that top 10, currently sitting at 13. And, these two teams are both run-heavy teams that are going to run the ball and keep the ball on the ground. And with Foothills, they have a great core of running backs, and it starts with guys like Emilio Soto and some other senior guys on that team. And Mark Carlin has the head coach has committed to the run the entire year, and he's willing to ride the hot hand with all those running backs of who is just making the right plays at the right time. And then for Florence, Josh Jackson leads the way. He's on the cusp of a 1,000-yard rushing season. He's certainly sitting at 950, so I definitely think 50 yards is doable for him in this game. He'll be able to reach that 1,000-yard cusp as only a junior, so that's really exciting for him to be able to do that. So I think this game is going to be a gritty, hard-fought game. Carlin has always said, this is the team that never, considers itself out of a game. They love to have that intensity on the field and have that, just that grittiness of them. It starts on defense as well with a guy like Bo Kaufman that we've talked about so many times. I love his intensity and his fire and the fire that he plays with. I think he's definitely the leader that they've wanted to see out of the Foothills defense so far. I'm going to take Florence in this one just for the fact that this team has been hot all year, only one loss on the season, and they are definitely in a position to be a surprise team in the 3A playoffs. But if the Sabercats can pick up this win here, they set themselves up for a possible playoff position. So either way, I'm excited. Whatever happens in this one, it's going to be a great one for both teams.
All right, now my what to watch, kind of continuing on this potential playoff trend, is an actual playoff game, and that is going back to our 1A conference. San Manuel defeated Superior last week, so they are moving on. They are now taking on the top seed in Hayden, and boy, do they have their hands full with this game. Looking at Hayden's quarterback, Fabian Elvira, over 2,000 passing yards, 35 touchdowns, and just 5 interceptions. That alone seems impossible to slow down. Of course, Hayden is undefeated. They are 9-0, and helping him out, with the run game is DeAndre Collier and Maury Cruz. These two guys are also equally as impressive on defense. Each of them have 5 interceptions, but Cruz does have 116 interception return yards. So, San Manuel is going to have a lot of work to do here. Last week against Superior, their star player was pretty much Ralphie Valenzuela. 7 of 13 passes completed for 133 yards, 1 touchdown. He also scored 2 on the ground. And defensively, we got to keep talking about this guy. He had 1 interception, as did Tony Giza Jr. Giza had his for a 45-yard touchdown. We didn't really get much of a chance to go out and cover our 1A football teams because they are well outside of our general area. But it's been fun, I gotta say, for you, being out there last week. I imagine that was a pretty good game. But for San Manuel, I think this has been a fantastic season. They've really been able to turn things around. And unfortunately, this might be the end of the road for them simply because Hayden is just too much and they have everything clicking for them this year. David, is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, yeah, I'm glad you gave a shout out to our 1A schools because sometimes they don't get a lot of love just because they're a little bit, like you said, outside of our region of coverage. But at the same end, they're 1A schools. 1A schools aren't going to get a lot of attention, but they work so incredibly hard. They are some of the most hardworking guys I've ever seen. I was out there, like you said, on Friday for that Superior and San Manuel game. That team was so great to watch. Both of them were. The Panthers and the Miners really put it out there all on the field. And I love the camaraderie that 1A football brings. These guys go all out for every team. So keep working. If you're in 1A, keep working. It's definitely showing off, and people are watching you. And good luck to San Manuel out there. They're going to have a tough opponent in Hayden going up against the 1 seed, but this team likes to fight and they like to be in any game they can. So keep going out there, work hard, and we'll hopefully see the right result. But we'll see what happens on this weekend. Should be a good one.
All right, and with that, we are coming down to the wire with our season here. We are also on the wire with our picks. We are currently tied. David is really happy about that. So be sure to check out Pinal Central over the weekend to see how all of our local teams did.